Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, the next question is about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 days ago, you had a lecture. I'm not sure exactly when, but you had mentioned about the lands of Fadak. You had made some thoughts about it. This happens to be in actuality a very serious matter.
Yes.
Yes, this is a very serious matter and you had made some statements. And on this matter, you had stated something, the details I am forgetting. The synopsis that I remember goes like this, that you had relayed that the people in question, the hadith that Abubakar had stated, they rejected it. The fact they had made the claim for their rights again later provides evidence that they didn't believe that the Prophet had made any kind of that hadith.
Exactly right.
That is what you stated, correct? Okay, so on that point, let me ask this question. Maybe you don't have knowledge of this, that Mufti Muhammad Ishaq had made some statements on that, and those were not his points and he gave the references for it. He had stated that Allama Sindhi, as far as my knowledge goes, I think it is Ubaidullah Sindhi. He was a great and famous scholar of the Indian subcontinent, as well as a political leader, also along with Allama Anwar Shah Kashmiri of the Deoband sect, who was a big scholar of Hadith. He was well known in the academics of Hadith.
Yes. Go on.
And Engineer Saeed says the same exact thing. And now you are probably really surprised and thinking, then what was this incident about? They had made the statements that this was a simple matter of management, of caretaking. Basically on managing and being the caretaker, he had stated that basically that the request made by Sayyidah Fatima to Zahra Salamullah Aliyah was for management. She made the request to oversee, manage and be the caretaker. He said that the request for management or caretaking would have been righteous. He stated that Sayyidah Fatima to Zahra was 100% righteous and was 100% in her rights. He continued by saying that the stance and the belief that the prophets don't leave behind any inheritance. This is not only the stance of the Ahl Sunnat, but also there is reliable and rightly recorded transmissions in the books of the Shia Nashidi. And they say that Hazrat Ali, Hazrat Abbas and Hazrat Fatima to Zahra Salamullah Alayha all agree on the same stance. They all accepted the stance that the Prophet do not behind inheritance. But Sayyidah Fatima to Zahra made the request that she had the first rights for management or caretaking. She felt that she had the first right because she was a daughter of Prophet Muhammad. She had the first right to management. Mufti Ishaq used to use the following: if I build a masjid, then that masjid is not mine in ownership. But if my son were after me and he had the full rights to request to take over the management or caretaking of it.
Okay. Okay. Now look, anyone can, and if someone makes a statement.
Now Engineer Sahib says the same thing. He says it is an issue of management, not an issue of inheritance.
Now look, whoever, Maulvi Ubaidullah Sindhi or Maulvi Anwar Shah Kashmiri, if they make any statements or judgments, if they are in accordance to the Quran and Prophet's Sunnat, then it is the truth. But if they start making statements or judgments without any references or evidence, then there is no weight or value to what they say.
Yes, absolutely, I agree.
So no evidence means it has no value, because Ubaidullah Sindhi and Anwar Shah Kashmiri were not present at the incident we are talking about. They were not present when the incident of the inheritance of Fadak took place. They were not present. They can only say whatever views, conclusions, beliefs or feelings they have. The only views and conclusions that have any weight or value are those in accordance to the Quran and the Prophet's rightful sayings. And without the evidence, those conclusions and views are called rubbish. What do we call it in your language? We call it worthless, and it is disposable trash. And it is wrong and valueless. Now my friends, look, they said that Sayyidah Fatima made a caretaking request. I would like you to pay attention to this. This hadith is in Bukhari. Please pay close attention. This is Bukhari, published in Arabia. This is a very famous hadith transmitted by Aisha. Hadith number 749. Aisha says,
أن فاطمة عليها السلام بنت النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أرسلت إلى أبي بكر تسأله ميراثها من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
Hazrat Zahra Salamullah Alayha sent someone with a message to Abu Bakr. For what reason? To make a request. The Arabic word talab means to ask or make a request. She was requesting her inheritance. What inheritance? The inheritance that she is supposed to get from her father, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
مما أفاء الله عليه.
That which Allah had bequeathed to her father in Medina and in Fadak. These are the actual words in the saying in Bukhari. These are the words transmitted from Aisha, that she was requesting her inheritance of the properties owned by the Prophet, the lands, gardens and groves in Medina and the lands of Fadak. Inheritance, those are the actual wordings. Okay, now saying about management or caretaking, show the evidence. Where is the hadith? Anyone and everyone can make any claims and take any stance. Now, this matter is not to be taken lightly, it is crucial. Why is it so important? Because those people, the people that appropriated the inheritance and showed no mercy to the dear, loving daughter of the Prophet, now they snatched inheritance. If that is true, now you say that it is not true. And if the evidence proves it to be true, that they misappropriate the inheritance, that they ascribe the lying hadith to the Prophet, then your religion has no foundation to stand on. And what you referred to me saying in a previous session during the time of Umar's rule, that Abbas and Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam went to Umar, that is rightfully transmitted in your book Sahih Muslim. So now the transmission of the request of inheritance of Fadak is straightforward. That is straightforward, that they rejected the hadith they felt it was a lie, not a true hadith. Sayyidah Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha also rejected that hadith. Okay, so in reference to this incident, in reference to this transmission,
فقال أبو بكر إن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا نورث ما تركنا صدقة.
So when the request for inheritance was made, Abu Bakr ascribed to the Prophet the saying that we don't leave behind any inheritance, we only leave behind charity.
إنما يأكل آل محمد من هذا المال وإني والله لا أغير شيئا من صدقة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
And Ahlul Bayt will get their portion from that charity, and I swear to God that I will never change the charity left by the Prophet. And whatever duties were fulfilled by the Prophet, I will continue the same in reference to the gardens or lands of Fadak. So Abu Bakr rejected the request of inheritance from Sayyidah Fatima and refused to give any part of it to her. So right then and there, Sayyidah Fatima became angry with Abu Bakr and refused to speak or see him until the day she died. Until the end, she stayed angry at Abu Bakr. So it is clear that Hazrat Fatima considered Abu Bakr liar and usurper of her inheritance, the greatest woman to ever be created, and the queen and leader of all the women who will be paradise. And that's a true hadith in Bukhari, that she is the queen of all women in paradise. She didn't consider Abu Bakr truthful. If Abu Bakr was truthful, and they were requesting the inheritance, if inheritance was not left by the Prophet, then it would have been a sin for her request inheritance. If that was the case, then Abu Bakr saved her from a sin. Then she would have no reason to be angry with Abu Bakr. So because she was angry with him, that means she viewed Abu Bakr as lying, saying a false hadith. Okay? So what else would you like to say?
Kindly, I would like to say that on some of the Ahl Sunnat websites, they say that in Usuli Kafi, in a reliable and rightly transmission, that the prophets only leave knowledge to the scholars, and Ayatul ID even made use of it as his platform for his revolution. He said that we scholars are the inheritors of the Prophet. What is the validity with that? And also, according to the Shia faith, women don't inherit land. What is the correct narration of faith on that?
That means wives don't inherit land. According to the Shia religion, wives don't inherit property. They will get the 1/8 of the value of the inheritance.
لا يرثن النساء من العقار شيئا.
If someone dies, their wives don't get land, but they get value of other inheritance, 1/8 of value. According to all Muslims, their daughters do get inheritance, all except the Prophet Muhammad. In your views, Abu Bakr made up this hadith about prophets not leaving inheritance.
What about the transmission in your books about the prophets leaving inheritance only to the scholars?
العلماء ورثة الأنبياء وإن الأنبياء لم يورثوا درهما ولا دينارا وإنما ورثوا الأحاديث فمن أخذ بحديث من أحاديثهم فقد أخذ حظا وافرا.
Let me show you the hadith, so I don't make a mistake in the transmission. This book is Usuli Kafi, my friends, volume number 1. Let's go to page number 32. That's where we'll find this hadith.
العلماء ورثة الأنبياء.
Imam Sadiq relayed this hadith
كأن الأنبياء لم يورثوا درهما ولا دينار.
That the prophets don't leave behind money or goods.
ورثوا أحاديث من أحاديثهم.
They left behind their teachings.
من أخذ بشيء منها فقد أخذ حظا وافرا.
Whoever learns the sayings will be great enhanced. This is not talking about their children. This is about the people who followers of those prophets. Our prophets of previous nations, they didn't leave behind inheritance for the followers. They left behind the religion and the religious rights. This is not about the children of the prophets. This is about the scholars and the people. Are the scholars inheritors of the prophets? Yes, they are, but only in knowledge and religion. How do scholars get inheritance? They didn't receive money or property. They received the knowledge and hadith of the religion. This statement is not generalized that no prophet left behind any inheritance. Please pay particular attention here. This is the ayat of the Quran.
آية أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وورث سليمان داود.
Suleiman received inheritance from Dawood, and also in your books, Suleiman received like 1,000 horses in inheritance and lots of property.
But what about the saying?
That is for the people and scholars, not the Prophet's family. This book is Tabqat ibn Sa'd, volume 2, page number 315. This hadith is rightly transmitted, and there are many hadiths like this. Hazrat Zaira came
تطلب ميراثها.
to ask Abu Bakr for her inheritance.
وجاء العباس.
Abbas also came along. Amir al-Mu'mineen also came along with them. Abu Bakr recited the following.
قال رسول الله لا نورث صلى الله عليه وسلم ما تركنا صدقة.
So Amir al-Mu'mineen replied,
ورث سليمان داود وقال زكريا يرثني ويرث من آل يعقوب.
he recited this ayat of the Quran. When Abu Bakr recited that hadith, Amir al-Mu'mineen responded by reciting 2 ayat from the Quran. The prophets leave inheritance. Their children get inheritance. So the people of the religion do not get any inheritance from the prophets.
Allah, Allah, Allah.